Hey everybody, if you don't know me already, my name is Niels, and today I want to talk to you about Furcationland. Furcationland, or FCL for short, is the state of Maine's first and only annual furry convention taking place in downtown Portland. 2026 was the con's fourth year in operation, and actually my first year attending. Now, I am someone who has been in furry for what basically feels like my entire life. I didn't really start going to conventions, though, and engaging with the community at large until post pandemic. Prior to that, I always really loved watching people's convention videos and their fursuit vlogs, though I noticed a lot of these never really went into depth about what to expect from certain events that you might be attending. So I decided I wanted to try my hand at making my own videos about the conventions I attended, what I liked, what I didn't like, what the hotel was like, where I ate. My goal for all of this to be a resource for people who are new to the fandom or for people who might just be considering FCL for the first time and want to know what they're getting into before they book that flight or buy that registration ticket. I think anybody who's been in the furry fandom for as long as I have also knows that it is a community full of wonderfully creative and passionate people. And this video is also my attempt to join them in being creative and giving something back to the community that has given me so much. So, without further ado, Vacationland. Let's get into it. Vacationland takes place at the Holiday Inn Portland by the Bay, usually during the second week of April. Now, this is a smaller hotel compared to some of the other conventions I've been to, but at the con's current size, which was just under 2,000 attendees for 2026, it by no means felt crowded. I think a lot of this is due to the hotel's location. Its proximity to downtown Portland means the convention space is easy walking distance from numerous bars, restaurants, arcades, museums, and more for people to check out over the course of the entire weekend. This means that not everybody is confined to the convention space, and there's a good flow of traffic going in and out. Honestly, downtown Portland was a huge draw for me to check out Vacation Land. My biggest concern over the weekend, knowing it would take place in early April, was that the weather would be good for us, and thankfully, we did have a clear, albeit very, very windy weekend. Now, despite being a smaller con, the main hotel room block for Vacation Land did sell out within a matter of minutes after opening. Luckily, we were able to get into one of the overflow hotels and we opted for the A Loft. We split a king size bed at $189 a night, which was the cheapest of any of the hotel rooms on offering, and the A Loft also provided self parking at an additional $30 a night. Overall, our experience with the A Loft was really positive. We were able to check in early to our room, and the check in process itself was pretty seamless. There were definitely other furries staying at the A Loft with us, but the hotel lobby and elevators remained pretty quiet throughout the duration of the weekend. So it was always nice to come back to our room and get a little bit of a break from the liveliness of the actual convention space. For me, there was really only one drawback to staying at the Aloft, and that was the walk to the main hotel. On Vacation Land's website, they tell you that this is a 5-minute walk, which is correct, but they failed to mention that this walk is entirely uphill. I'm very thankful we had good weather all weekend and didn't have to navigate this in the snow or the rain because it would have been really unfortunate. So, definitely a consideration if you are someone with mobility issues or maybe someone who is planning on full suiting, that if you are walking from the Aloft to the main hotel, it is going to be very vertical. As I mentioned earlier, the convention's proximity to downtown Portland means that you have a ton of dining options. There are lots of bars and restaurants within walking distance of the main hotel and the overflow hotels, and some of these businesses actually even partnered with the convention for the duration of the weekend to offer attendees certain promotions or discounts if they showed their badge. Of all of the places we checked out over the weekend, here are some that I recommend. Through the combined power of the sponsor tier and sheer luck, my registration experience at Vacationland was one of the fastest registration experiences I've ever had. Since we arrived at the con so early on Thursday, we were some of the first people in the sponsor line for registration before it opened at 6 o'clock. We went through the line pretty much immediately. I think we were like the first five people through the room, got our badges, got our sponsor bags, and headed out. I found out from some friends who were in the regular reg line that pretty much immediately after we left, con staff started having network issues, and the line ended up taking about 2 hours from there. For Vacationland size, the dealer's den was a lot bigger than I expected. They had 42 vendors as well as a small 18 plus section with four additional vendors. I didn't get a ton of footage in here, but I appreciated the way that the dealer's den was laid out. It felt like there was a lot of room to move around and peruse wares. There was space to talk to vendors. And it didn't feel like at any point I was going to step on someone's tail or get shoved or jostled out of the way while I was shopping. The schedule for Vacationland was absolutely packed with all kinds of incredible events. Like, literally, there was no shortage of things to go and do any single day of the con that you were there. Um, Obviously, they had panels, there was the dance competition, you had fursuit games, but Vacationland also had a couple of unique main events. And those are the ones that I really want to highlight for this video. The first of these unique events that I want to talk about is the Menagerie of Portland. So, this event took place directly after the Fursuit Parade and was actually at the location that the Fursuit Parade ended, which was Monument Square in downtown Portland. The idea was to create a menagerie. So, you would have all of these fursuiters funneling into this area in downtown Portland. They had a information tent set up, they had live music, and then people were just there to kind of hang out and vibe with the public. There were so many people from downtown Portland that came over to check out what the furries were doing. And it was a beautiful day for this event as well. So the opportunity to mix and mingle with the public, with other fursuiters, and get photos and videos was just absolutely incredible. The energy in the space was just really, really wholesome, and it was a super great event to get to take part in. The second event was the Boardwalk Fair at Free Street, which is exactly what its name implies. This was a sidewalk fair that they set up right across the street from the main hotel. And they had games, food trucks, live music, a beer garden. The car show took place here. And it was just another really great opportunity to spend time outside, either fursuiting or not fursuiting, but to mix and mingle and just kind of hang out and enjoy what downtown Portland has to offer. One last event of the convention that I really wanted to highlight as well was its pinball tournament. Now, I did not officially take part in the pinball tournament, but I thought that this was something really unique. The three pinball machines that were available throughout the weekend in the gaming room were actually provided by two con staff members. They took a quarter per play, and all of the money that was used to play them was later donated to the con's charity. I thought this was just a really interesting and neat, wholesome addition to the things that were on offer at the con, and definitely something very unique that you wouldn't get at a lot of other events. Overall, I really, really enjoyed my time at Vacationland, and I think if you are someone who is new to furry conventions, this is a great option to break into the scene with. The vibes for the weekend were very laid back, and its small size made it really easy to navigate. Keep in mind that this convention is family friendly and is open to all ages. I saw a lot of younger furs this weekend, which does not necessarily put me off, but I know for some other people they don't exactly like sharing a con space with kids. If you are someone who is looking for a con with more of a party scene, I don't think Vacationland is necessarily for you, but that doesn't mean that parties didn't exist over the course of the weekend. I am very excited to see how this convention continues to grow and expand, and I think downtown Portland will continue to be an amazing venue for furries. Before I end this video, I do just want to give a massive shout out to Vacation Land staff and volunteers who made the entire weekend possible. You guys were amazing. Thank you so much for everything that you do in making events like this happen for people like me. If you enjoyed this video, I would like to make more of them. I am planning on attending Euphoria this July in Albany, New York, and I would really like to make another video about my time there. If you're interested in seeing it, please go ahead, drop me a like, give me a subscribe, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching.